So I'm doing a little tour here at my in-laws place, and I wanted to share this with you guys on the note of pruning. I apologize if there's wind. It's a little breezy today, but I hope I get my hand around the camera here. But I want to show you this tree. It's a golden delicious or yellow delicious or something. This tree was in pretty rough shape. My father-in-law doesn't prune very much, and that's not a jab at him. He admits it. He doesn't prune very well. And this one had some real damage. This whole limb I cut off last winter because it was broken. And broken off and it stuck out here, so I cut the whole thing off. But you can see where I took off some other pretty big chunks there and down here, and even this one here that I took off of that one that was broken, just trying to help reshape this tree a little bit. And I left this one main piece up the middle. It was nice new growth as sort of a central leader because the tree otherwise didn't have one. But I'm just looking at the new growth on it now, and it's very impressive. So I pruned it hard last year, and you can see now all of this in here. This is all new growth it put on this year. Go around so the sun's not in her face, but here's a nice shoot it put on. Here's shoots that it put on. All sorts of new growth up in there. So I wanted to show this to you guys because even still, I struggle with pruning. It's hard to to go through and cut off, from your tree, because you feel like every little bit of growth is so precious. But really, proper pruning is very good for a tree. Here's a nice big shoot that it put on. Here's another one beside it, another one back in here. So this tree, I'm very happy with how it's bounced back. It looks very good, very healthy, and it really could probably stand to have some more hard pruning. One thing to keep in mind is an older tree like this one, you can see it's a pretty good sized apple tree. If you prune it too hard, you can encourage sucker sprouts. And you can see what's happened down here on the base. Whole lot of water suckers coming up around this base. Now, they're not that big of a deal. These little bitty things, they're not pulling that much nutrient away from the tree, but I would have to go through and mow them all off. If there ever was a graft on this tree, they're coming up from the ground, so they're below the graft. But, knock all those off. They're not that big of a deal. But you can see this old tree's had some rough times. I mean, these big old cracks in it, these are big old stress cracks from when it gets loaded down with fruit. So that's another good reason to prune your tree, and make sure that your main leaders are at a good angle so they're good and strong, and also manage your fruit load. If you see that your trees are super loaded, that's really exciting. It's great to see a huge crop on your trees, but also keep in mind that crop could actually end up being a detriment to your tree. It could damage your tree. And you might end up actually with a whole ton of a undersized fruit, or a not as good quality fruit. So that's kind of a different topic. But anyway, just wanted to show this to you. This is just one example of several that I pruned. It could still use a lot of work, but based on what I did to it, it looks like it's bounced back very well. That's very good.